I wanted to check in with an amazing human being who I worked with on a reality television show that I'm sure you've probably all seen. So let's check in with her in the land down under. I'm definitely not a techie, and this entire thing is really crazy for me. I literally just went to Target and bought this giant microphone because everything else is closed.
Oh my gosh, I know, it's crazy. Okay, perfect. Is the lighting and everything okay for you?
You look gorgeous.
I
Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face.
know, I just disinfected.
Okay.
Because you did season one with us, didn't you?
I did season 1
In
with you
Greece.
guys. Yeah, in Greece.
But then you never did another one?
I did another season with them. We went to Tortola, and then I jumped out of reality television and went into scripted. So I just actually had a world premiere of a feature film that I produced. And
Oh, congrats.
yeah, thanks. And I also have been doing a ton of podcasting with iHeart and Will Ferrell's company, Funny or Die.
Yeah.
Everybody likes podcasts right now, and it's the mad thing. So I kind of switched gears a bit.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, no, it only got dirtier after you left. Don't worry.
I bet. I think that I was probably a little bit of the sweet soul.
So, hi guys. I'm Hannah Ferrier, and I work in reality TV.
Can you tell me where you are currently?
I am currently in Sydney, Australia.
And how is the weather there right now?
The weather currently in Sydney is raining, gloomy, basically exactly like everyone's mood worldwide, I think.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the level of quarantine is currently in Sydney?
The level of quarantine in Sydney is currently we have our pubs, bars, restaurants, etc. shut down. They're basically politely asking us not to leave the house, but there's nothing strict in place. So I know I've got a lot of friends around the world, so we're a lot better off than most. We can still walk outside and exercise, walk the dog, but everyone is most people are erring on the side of caution. But then, in saying that, on Friday, we had the largest day this year in Australia down at Bondi Beach, and another 100 people were infected down there on that one day. So some people are not listening and spreading it further.
What do you think about people who aren't taking, this serious, or the government's suggestions? What would you say to them?
I'm not really sure if they're not listening or they're not aware, because I think a lot of people are going, I'm young, it's just like a flu, I'll get over it. And they aren't realizing it's not about you. But I think we live in quite a selfish time in the world as well. And we kind of are, everyone's just very concerned about themselves. And these people aren't realizing that you might have it, you might not even have any symptoms, but then you're passing it on to someone who goes to see their grandmother, and their grandmother gets it, has a respiratory issue, and passes away. And that is you not self-isolating. So I think people are just kind of being selfish about the whole thing. And I think in terms of the media's in this situation where it's almost like the little boy who called wolf, because I feel like they constantly over dramatize things. And I don't think they are this time, but I think people think they are when they're actually not. And it's, they always kind of blow things up, and this time it actually needs to be, and some people aren't listening.
I want to remind people that the media is fueled by, having viewers watch them. And so
Yeah.
I think for the past, decade at least, our news has been very divided into entertainment versus actual news. And so,
Yeah.
that's something that I think that we're currently dealing with as a society, is figuring out exactly what the line is for those things. What were your thoughts when you first heard about COVID-19? When you first heard the first time somebody saying coronavirus or COVID-19, what did you think?
I guess it was one of those things that, in terms of when the coronavirus started, it was one of those things that you could never picture there would be a stage where your government's telling you to stay home and not go out. We've had a few things, in our lifetime that have been a little bit scary, but definitely nothing like this. So when I first heard about it, I kind of just thought it would be like another flu-like thing that kind of just went on its merry way, to be honest, but obviously not.
What are your thoughts now versus when you first heard about it?
My thoughts are really different now in terms of what's going to happen moving forward with coronavirus. Actually, I was on Twitter today and I saw someone had tweeted, "Oh, this will all be over within the week." And it's like, how can you still be thinking like that? It's not something that's going to blow over. I think we've actually got at minimum another month, but more realistically, probably 2 to 3 to come of this. And in Australia, like, we only shut down yesterday. So I think America shut down quite a bit before us, but you have a lot more cases.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really disagree with the politics and stuff that's going on in America at the moment. And it's even just frustrating. Like, I'm not American, I'm Australian, but it's still just frustrating seeing the president talk about things like borders at a time like this. It's like, the people that were infected legally flew on a plane.
Yeah.
So unless you're just going to say no one from any other country can ever come to America, it has nothing to do with borders, immigration, race, anything like that.
Could not agree more.
And you have to say then Americans can't go anywhere in the world as well.
What is the testing situation like in Sydney at the moment?
We definitely don't have adequate testing in Sydney. Like, my father he works in government, and somebody at his work came back positive. So I know that they're putting in, they're making sure that the people have symptoms and signs and things like that before they're tested.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in government. So I don't even know how hard it would be for, a regular Joe to walk off the street and get tested.
What do you think is the most significant way that you've personally been affected through this pandemic?
So I think the biggest way that I've been affected is a lot of my work is in America. So I was supposed to be in LA right now, and I've basically been locked down not only to Sydney but to my house. And I'm very lucky because my partner's work is secure, but it's just scary speaking to people, because a lot of people live week to week. And, I've got obviously a lot of friends in hospitality, and it's scary because they have like a month rent and nobody really knows when the jobs are going to come back. So in kind of the big picture, I'm very blessed and very lucky in the way that it has affected me and my life. Because it's definitely been minimum compared to how it's affecting some other people. So I know that I'm really lucky.
In America, they're having talks on suspending rents and mortgages for a specific amount of time. Is that something that's going on in Sydney as well?
Over the weekend, our government announced what it's going to do financially for people. So the sad thing is they've actually increased what we call the dole, so it's welfare. They've nearly doubled that. So then a lot of people have actually quit their jobs to go onto that because they're getting more money that way.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's going to be a bit of a backlash. And they're also letting people access their superannuation early, which is fantastic for now, but superannuation's there for a reason. So I don't know if it's going to be fantastic when these people retire in 30 years' time and they have, significantly less superannuation than they would have.
Can you tell us what superannuation is? I believe it's kind of like our Social Security, but just checking.
Basically, your employee pays 15% of your salary into a bank account, and you access that when you are over 65 and retired.
It's kind of like Social Security, except for that we pay for it. And then that would be more like, I can't even think of the financial term of what that is right now, but I'll put it in later in the edit. What do you think is one downfall, other than the ones you've already mentioned, that coronavirus is doing in your part of the world?
In Australia specifically, it's going to be very difficult because obviously we have a massive tourism trade, as does America and Europe. But I think just the uncertainty of what's happened and when it's going to end, and I feel like, honestly, it's very difficult for Australia because we just went through this. We just had the bushfires,
Yeah.
Our entire summer was written off basically. And so I feel like we just came through a massive tragedy. They were the largest bushfires in so many years. We lost so many lives, and so many farmers, lost their crops and everything. So it's almost like this double whammy because we don't actually have, like a lot of the places, they won't be able to produce the type of food that they could before these bushfires hit. So we're just not really equipped for it at the moment.
Realizing that we are citizens of the world as opposed to just citizens of our nation is something that's very, very, it's evolving a lot with our generation and the technology. The fact that I can sit here and talk to you in Sydney right now while I'm enjoying the sunset in Los Angeles, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what this is for specifically. It's just to show people that not just in times of struggle, but also during those times, we are all kind of together.
Yeah, and I think it would be a lot nicer if more people had that point of view.
What is one triumph or good thing that you've noticed through all of this pandemic spread?
That's to try and find a positive is actually really difficult right now, because I've actually been quite disappointed with how, I'm sure not just Australians, but the world has dealt with this. There's just been so much hoarding, so much overbuying, no kind of regard for the people that can't just drive up to the local grocery shop and see what's up there. We have senior citizens and people like that who can't drive anymore, who take an hour and a half bus to find that there's no toilet paper, there's no pasta, there's no tin goods. And it's just sad that we're all just kind of looking after number one and not having any kind of respect or anything for, I don't know, humankind. But I don't know, the bright side, I don't know, less people are drinking Coronas. That's all I can think of.
I will accept that answer. Is there anything specific that you would like to tell people in Sydney or even your neighborhood or, within your grouping, and then also anything you'd like to say to the world at large?
I think the most important thing at the moment is just to be kind to each other. Everyone's struggling in different ways. And I think it's very easy to just kind of be stressed and think about yourself. But even just when you're walking on the street and things like that, just smile at a stranger. You don't know what, everyone at the moment is going to be going through their own turmoil and their own hardship. And sometimes just a good morning or a how are you or a smile. If you don't know them, you could be grumpy as well, but just make an effort to be kind to people at the moment.
Even in social distancing, a smile can go a lot further than 6 feet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, worldwide, the only thing I could say to people is reach out, especially to the people that are alone. I'm lucky I have my partner here. I wouldn't mind some social distancing every now and then. But yeah, just reach out to your friends and family who live on their own, because it can be very difficult to go from working 5 days a week and being social to just sitting at home on your own. So just reach out to people, FaceTime, Skype, text, everything, and just make sure that the people who are alone aren't too lonely.
Okay, great. Well, I will let you get back. What are you going to do as soon as you get finished with it? You were buying a couch before? What?
Yeah. So last time I went to LA, my boyfriend thought it would be a good idea to purchase a couch and then throw away our couch, but then the new couch didn't fit in. And then we're going to move. We're moving in the next month or two, so I got just kind of a replacement couch that isn't very comfy. But now we're in lockdown. We now want a good couch, so now we're getting rid of the replacement couch and getting a new couch. There's just couches, a lot of couches coming and going.
It's musical couches. Do you guys have musical chairs down there?
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Perfect.
So I feel like dating in your 30s is like musical chairs,
A little bit.
And then we're going to see a house. We're moving, so we're just we were going to buy, but now with what's going on, we're just not confident.
Yeah.
In purchasing at the moment, so we're going to just rent a little house up the road.
Great.
Yeah, so we're going to see that, and then he's got a PT session, and I'm going to watch Seinfeld.
And PT as in physical training? Are you guys the gyms still open down there?
No, the gyms are all closed, but his personal trainer is a good friend of his. So they're going to train together, basically.
That's cool. I really appreciate you taking the time. It means literally the world.
Nice to see you again.
I know, it's been forever. Let's stay in touch whenever there's not a global pandemic.
Yeah, sounds good. Bye, guys.